That's what's up. It's DJ Shoza and Tequila with Lombwe Lange. We also had Young T and Sally Boss Madame with Baby Don't Stop right before this. Good morning and welcome to the Morning Mix. We are back with the Wednesday edition.
Wednesday?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Moro Meria wapenduka?
Morning.
Wapenduka nawa?
Yeah.
Nawa tu?
Nawa?
Oh, inahara kupopsha na oshwambo na.
Ndaroroka.
Waroroka? Kupopsha shwambo.
Aye, ndaroroka ritatu.
Wahara kutakumifange.
I'm sorry, I just have to add, this morning, I saw on another radio station, right, it's an English and a Ovambo woman, Oshiwambo woman called in and she was speaking, like I want to speak in Oshiwambo. And the presenter said, was like, no, this is, because he doesn't understand Oshiwambo.
Yeah.
So he was saying, no, this is an English, the program is in English.
Yeah.
I'm making sure Shirumbu, like... like I can say Alanin. So I just thought, wow.
I appreciate stuff more and more. Seriously.
But also it's rude.
What do you mean it's rude?
Why do you have to assume? Because somebody, like only white people should speak English.
Nowhere
in that conversation did she respond in English.
English, she was just
like, you must call back. We have other programs in Oshima. Well, no.
Yeah. What a way to start the show this morning. All right, guys, we've got quite an interesting conversation. This is something that has been going on and on and on and on for the past couple of months, all right? It's the debate between the electronic voting machines, or EVMs, and of course the ballot paper, which is the method we used, I think, before 2014. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Neville, Chaismus, Okrok. So let's start with you, because you have been present for every election in this country's past.
50 years. Yes. Well, since 1990 at least, democratic process.
So walk us through that, like the ballot papers. How was it before we switched to the EVMs?
So, wait, before we start, you've never voted with ballot?
And don't ask me those questions on the air, Toha.
Sorry, Maria.
We can have that conversation off the air.
Can you ask again?
So you never... lost your disappointment.
For me. Then you have the audacity to come and interrogate.
Look, so a lot of people started only voting in 2014.
I am a reformed youth. I was also at some points like, the politicians, we worry so politics. So that's why I can sit here and tell other guys, you know what, that's not the way to go.
But you will go and vote this year?
Of course.
Okay. Yeah, so you're reformed now.
Yeah.
To be honest, guys, for all the years that I voted with the ballot paper, without knowing that there was an option of an EVM machine, or kudrekera or kutenga or konopi, I did not think about the two, the comparison.
Yeah.
So from 89, when I started voting myself, the ballot paper was never a problem for me. Obviously, now that the EVM machines came into play now, that it's now the new progressive way, as the ECN says, of voting. It's, for me personally, if I have to choose now between the two, the validity of, if I have to make a comparison, I think I would go for the EVMs instead of the ballot paper.
Okay. Maria, where do you stand?
I'm in two places because I'm able to weigh the pros and cons. You know, the nice thing with the ballot paper is it cannot be manipulated. Unless you vote in pencil. Not even when you vote in pencil. I mean, when the results are there and clearly, it's the only people, I think with the ballot paper, you have to rely, truly rely on your ECN, stuff, like the people that oversee the the counts, the processes. Those are the people that have to be the most honest.
All
Obviously,
these elections officers that,
yes,
that are
yeah,
hired by
election
the Senate.
officers. In all honesty, I mean, yes, they're still dishonest people. So, I mean, with the ballot, we also had complaints of perhaps ballots going missing. And because there is also a delay in announcing the results, I think that was always it allows for more questions of rigging. It's like, oh, why are you taking 24 hours or 48 hours? This should have been done with this count. But it's literally, I mean, if you're counting what we have now, 1.3 million people registered, that's a large number of people to vote for anybody. And it's easy to make mistakes. All right. So that's my issue. That the pros and cons of ballot, you can't manipulate, but the processes, the count, and everything,
longer,
and also the human error then in the count. The machine, I think, it eliminates that human error in the sense that it does the count immediately, but and the skepticism is that you can manipulate it, like tamper with it, so that if you pre-program a machine, it doesn't matter what you press afterwards. It's pre-programmed. That's the result it's going to give. It's a machine end of the day, just like you can hack a computer. I don't think EVM is so special that it can't be hacked. So I see the pros and cons of each. I'm just, Namibia is the first African country to use EVMs or all other African countries, all other African countries still rely heavily on the ballot. So I don't know if that makes us smarter or more stupid.
More progressive or a bit careless?
Yes.
The thing is just for me, guys, to look at the ballot paper again, and like you rightfully say, Maria, I think between the two, it just seems like the manipulation seems to be easier with the ballot paper, because there are so many factors when it comes to the ballot paper. It's the pencil, you can erase it. Like, I think, I don't know how authentic this report is from the U.S. Embassy based in New York. I saw a letter that somebody sent from somewhere, allegedly from New York, who says they had 54 votes, and it took them over 2 hours to count this 54 votes, and they dispute the outcome of the votes because it was a ballot paper based vote or system that they basically used there, compared to the EVMs. And it's like you also say, it's true that a machine can be manipulated. It can be manipulated, but we've heard so many horror stories of ballot boxes that just go missing through previous elections, or ballot boxes that's been found on the side of the road. All these stories, and
so
it makes it difficult to trust the process.
Sort of to try and shift your perspective there. We also have horror stories of EVMs falling off next to the road.
Not even that, we double voted. Somebody that double voted. Yeah, so these are the things. And then also at the special elections, I saw a report in one of the papers that ECN admitted that there might have been some fault there. Now, the problem with such faults happening during the time of election is you can't really remedy and rectify during that time. So, like I said, I see the pros and the cons and pros. Just by the way, pencil is not a common way of voting. I don't want us to use something that happened somewhere, isolated incident to generalize that this is what's been happening. I know when I voted ballot, it was definitely pen, or a marker rather. And I don't remember people using pencils during that time, or even complaints of a pencil happening. So while it is not an uncommon thing to happen, like I said, it's not fair to generalize that's the problem with ballots is, of course, the tampering that can happen, spoiled ballots, and so forth. But like I said, I think look, if people wanna steal election, they will. Look at Ask Mugabe.
We can't ask him. He's not here anymore.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's interesting. I'm trying to think on which side of the spectrum. Obviously, look, if the ECN can prove definitively that the electronic voting machines that we have are not faulty, they're not prone to unnecessary mistakes that we won't be able to rectify during the elections. Like, for instance, there was the issue of, I think, somewhere in the south where one of the VOTEMs fell. VOTEMs. EVMs fell. Voting machines and EVMs are mixed. Yeah, but one of the machines fell, so they had to disconnect it from the main
the main system or whatever.
And then reconnect it. So what happens in that case? Does it, because this thing has been powered down and then needs to be powered back up again. I remember he said each voting machine, I think, has only 2,000 votes or something like that, or 2,000 ballots loaded. So what happens in that kind of situation?
I think the initial the noise making started because initially what was presented was an EVMs that do produce a paper trail.
Yes.
So that you're getting both. So it's like you're getting your ballot, but in the form of an EVM. So you press, receipt comes out, like with a vote.
Yeah.
And then that way you can still, and you get you vote, you can check, verify, okay, this is exactly how I voted, and put it in the box and you're gone, right? Then there is no dispute. But, I remember we had Theo here who was saying, the problem with the risk with that is that if people dispute.
Yeah.
But I don't think that should be a problem. If you dispute, you dispute. You understand? If I vote for a specific party, but my ballot is saying something else, I'm allowed to dispute.
Of course. Theo is very well practiced in, talking around questions. He's very good. But
what are you trying to say?
Theo doesn't really answer stuff. He gives you an answer. This is Theo. You ask about okay, so what happened with the voting machine in Karasburg? Oh yes, no, we admit there was an issue, but we have sorted it out. We are moving on. The machines are fine. No. That's done. That question is asked and answered.
I don't think so. I think it's very elaborate. No, it's not fair. That's
don't
not
agree
fair.
with you.
I also disagree.
I think when he was here,
I want him to come back.
No, I think he answered thoroughly.
Let's
let's be fair to the man.
Listen,
I don't think so.
It's a Amber no, it's say. Seriously, ne?
No, but look, let me just set the record straight before you continue, right?
Yeah,
I'm not anti-EVM.
Okay.
And looking at elections that are, less than 2 weeks, just a little over a week away, I don't see us printing like 1.3 million ballot papers.
We can.
Within the next 7 days,
but then you have to
the
postpone the election.
stations.
It's not even that you would then have to postpone it because then you have to again do like voter education. Because you can't really have elections without voter education. People were being given voter education for EVMs. And if we have to do ballot, you have to do voter education for first-time voters again.
Yeah.
You need to remember that not everybody has participated before.
Exactly.
Or even like yourself, you maybe have participated, but you've never participated with a ballot. So you need to know the processes of a ballot.
Yes.
This is how it's printed. This is how it looks like. I mean, that's part of this process is the voter education. And if that a tribunal decides that we're going to do away with the EVMs, then you can't have elections the next day. Not just because printing is a problem, because then voter education, and that's going to be a problem. So then you potentially have to postpone the election, and that's why, and that in itself is a problem, and that's why I also think, and that's my criticism with Dr. Itula, by the way, you can't bring an application at the 11th hour.
Yes, like changing.
You had a problem.
Everything right now is
it's a problem.
Yeah.
You had a problem with the EVMs when you announced your candidacy. And that's when you should have taken this before even the special elections. Because now what's going to happen with the special election results? Because those are already counted, but they're waiting to be announced at the same time with the rest.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen with those? You can't start. This is also a costly exercise. Sometimes I think, like, I get it, but I also don't get it, because you can't be so self-serving, and I say self-serving because it's not everybody that agrees with that. You can't be so self-serving that you bring an application at the 11th hour and expect people to just go with it, because people have already voted, have already casted their vote. You could have brought this application a month ago and had time for a tribunal to make its ruling, to take a decision on it, and to give then the ECN time to remedy and rectify. Now it's like on the eve of elections, that's when we're going to get our rule. And if it's not, look, companies have already given their staff off. They've already made special arrangements for that day. People have already voted. Let's not forget, people have already voted in the special election. What's going to happen? It's just like, oh, okay, sorry guys, restart. We've spent this much and this much and this. We've shipped ballot papers to all these countries where we have embassies. But okay, let's just start the process again because you're not happy.
My issue is, for instance, guys, okay, now he launched this urgent application now at the courts yesterday.
After voting, or it's already happened.
Now, in the unlikely event that he wins this election.
Yeah, very unlikely.
Yeah. That he wins this election.
Oh, sorry, I thought in the unlikely event tribunal rules in his favor. Okay, sorry, continue.
No, that he wins this election with the EVMs. Will he now obviously contest the result or not? I mean,
yes, then we contest next week.
Then will he not contest the result now? Because then Hage will come to say, Itola, you were against the EVM machine. Now I'm also against the EVM machine. So I will also launch an urgent application now. So we do a recall. Then what will you say? Huh? You. Huh?
Why are you asking me?
No, you, because you.
No, a lot of these
Then we
things
do
are
a
also
recount.
just no. A lot of the truth of the matter is, I think in the hearts of hearts, he knows that the elections will go forward with the EVMs.
With
right?
the EVMs, yes.
But it's a preemptive move, so that if you don't win, you're like, yeah, I told you, I didn't win because it was rigged.
Yeah.
It's a preemptive move, and like sometimes I'm not going to pretend I don't see through these things, because. Like I said, the application should have been brought over a month ago, 2 months ago at the very least, and that application would have been dealt with.
Ons luister, Cubis.
Wat sê die mense?
Wat wil jy hoor?
Laat ek nie weer geaccuse word ek het apart. I belong to nobody.
Yeah.
Okay.
I belong to nobody.
Since you're the one who's asking what said Mensa, let's start with this one. That woman has got a point. But I'm against the EVMs. This was planned by SWAPO members. Okay. JR Pabo saying we want to participate. Paulina Shimela, we must do the ballot papers with ink pen. That will do. Eduardo Pandoleni Julius, I understand the machines can be manipulated, but yet there is no difference with ballot papers.
Yeah.
We have so many issues in past. Some ballot papers found in Omulamamba, etc. Right? Whether it's a machine or a ballot paper, anything is still possible.
Yes. Yeah, that's why I said if you wanna check the elections, hijack, you will.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you put the most sophisticated equipment, you put the most sophisticated ballot paper. If you wanna rig elections,
You can.
You can.
Noza Toibo Kapapilo, right? The easiest solution is to have a reshuffle of the labeling of candidates, numbering positions on the EVMs at every polling station the same day in the presence of each and every party's representatives, and ECN should have their officials at every polling station to head the process. Our constitution explicitly states paper trails. All right, we should discourage a culture of laziness. The omission of paper trail is not only the printer malfunctioning, but also due to laziness by ECN from not providing the alternatives. Quality elections is democracy.
I like that suggestion.
Yes.
Yeah. So you say is it a he? What's his name?
Toibo.
Toivo is basically saying, so like right now you have them in an order, a certain order, like the first candidate is who, second, third, fourth, or party, whatever. Says switch those up and slot them back in.
Reshuffle and
and then at least we feel a sense of...
So you know whatever programming was done before is not going to work because now the names are...
The second button is now belonging to PDM. And then you see PDM winning elections and you're like, huh?
That is interesting. It is definitely an interesting proposition. What's the Julie Penny? Let's postpone the elections until we solve the issue. That is...
Ons postpone niks meer, bro. Ons gaan vorentoe. We want to vote on the 27th so that on the 1st of December we are clear to watch our Al Jazeera report without interferences, as a belief.
J.R. Pavo says, no, this issue has been raised a long time. We want to call in. My producer says no.
Maria, what are you talking about?
I lost that goed.
What are you talking about, Maria?
We are talking about EVMs. Continue, please.
No, you brought up the issue.
Yeah, no, and it was said, and it was...
Qualify Matthias. One important question that needs to be answered is, how did we move from ballot paper to EVMs?
I think it was the move was largely because of complaints.
Yeah.
Let's just be clear.
Of rigging.
You know, it's also sometimes, and that's also sometimes my other issue is like, will we ever be satisfied? We complained about ballot. We got EVMs. Now the EVMs, we want them to produce a ballot as well. If we get that, will we be satisfied or it will be another thing? It seems like the goalpost is always being moved anyway.
Yeah.
You know, so and I understandably, because it is election, it is a sensitive time. You want every vote to count for something. So I do get why people are sensitive around it, especially political parties and agencies. But like I said, we will never get to a place where there's a general consensus. Let's just be very clear. Everybody will always have an opinion on this matter.
Elias.
No, I remember. I can't remember who it was that made the comment. But anyway, we are not going back to the ballot paper. The era of the ballot paper is gone. If anything, we maybe improve the EVMs that we use or the electronic voting machines that we use for future elections. But still crying about ballot papers is kind of pointless. Hater Willem, we don't want those Indian machinery. I'm telling you that machine is going to have to come from a company
Namaste.
that doesn't even have the colors green, blue, and red in it anyway.
Better Indian than Chinese, because then y'all will be up in arms.
Now it's an Indian problem. It's not a Chinese problem now. What do you want?
If we start using Chinese machines, the Chinese are going to start their own political party here in Namibia.
If we say we bring machines from Russia, then it's a communist machine. If we bring
no, the communists, they don't even have machines. They'll vote, Mosi.
If it's an they don't vote.
Mutatio Carstens saying, hey,
okay, sorry.
was die comment
Maria,
nou
can
weer?
you stop this? Okay.
Sorry.
Ja, alsjeblieft.
Sy is net ek het amper iets verkeerd gesê op die lig. HQ, that was a heavy swing at Theo. Pas op, Omes.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, that's my observation. I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm right, I'm right. If the shoe fits, he's going to wear it. If not, he's going to throw it back.
Observation. Are you untag or what? What are you observing?
Huh?
Are you untag now?
SADC election observers.
I mean, Theo was so nice. He even answered his weed question.
Yes. Even your weed question.
You're very selective memory.
No. Like answering the easy questions well and answering the difficult questions not so well.
Well, I felt he was transparent. I really did.
I did not. He was transparent on a lot of things, and then a lot of things were also left unanswered. Here we are, still talking about EVMs. Gerson Garisep, my people can debate and debate. Come next week, we will use EVMs.
That's bad.
Yeah.
Just make peace with the fact that we are going to use the EVMs.
And I, Garisep Tamara, we know where your vote is going to. We will rig your vote.
Marlon Nari, pencils were used and the opposition party PDM have asked for EVMs. I voted 2014 with EVMs, but I never used my card.
That's impossible.
Okay. You need to elaborate a bit more on
Yeah.
that one because this.
And guys, sometimes it's just comments, but if you're going to make stuff like that, please let's not joke about it. If you really did vote without
your
a
card.
card, state it and also, exactly. So that we're not
that
just
is a
making
serious thing.
yes, we're not just
Yeah.
making inflammatory comments.
Yeah.
Substantiate them, but
Yeah.
a comment like that.
Yeah.
How did you vote without a card?
Yeah.
Where did you vote
And
without
did you
a card?
report it afterwards?
Yes. Mervis LeBron. Let's just go back to the box, man. Even the US, UK, etc. are using them. Let's use the ballot paper with ink pen. Ballot papers, please. To be the first African country using EVMs makes us more stupidest.
How?
Of the most progressive.
Yeah, or the most progressive.
The times are changing. That's all I'm
Gee.
saying. Let's save the forest.
I mean, in history, let's save the forest. In the history, probably 50 years from now, we can look back in the history books and say Namibia was the first country of all African countries
To introduce EVMs.
to introduce the EVM machines.
Yeah, can I be honest? I think some of the skepticism is coming because SWAPO is not complaining.
Yeah,
You understand?
They want SWAPO to complain.
Yeah, everybody else is complaining and SWAPO is not. So people are like, let's buy a comfortable. Is it because you know you're getting too quick?
It says he saw.
So yeah, it's that skepticism, I think.
JR5 was saying we need public voice also in this issue. We need to ask if the nation is happy with the EVM or not, because we are voting for our future. We can't joke with life by these machines. Let me just read another comment. Mutekurwa na Makena. All right, we must just use paper trail. Forget about paper jam or any other issue. Why did they bring in Zimbabwean experts who are good at election rigging?
I know I had a problem with that as well, by the way. But anyway,
Excellent comments. Like you
Hey,
you guys have want me to
Pambili Chimurenga.
rein it in this morning.
I had a problem with that.
Why? What is your problem?
No.
What is your
Anybody
problem?
but Zimbabweans, guys.
Oh, you are. There is such a xenophobic.
No, I
thing.
said anybody else. Meaning you can be Angolan, you can be South African, you
You
can be
are
everything.
xenophobic against
Just not
Zimbabweans.
Zimbabwean. No, that's not xenophobia. That's
Yeah,
just
that
a
is.
fact.
I know you listen here, Neville.
What?
Yeah, let's not use terms loosely, please.
It's
Yeah.
like xenophobia.
Yeah.
If
No, your term that you're
listen here,
using is loose.
Fratena, just because I don't like you doesn't mean I have an issue with Tamaras. I just don't like this Tamara. So
Yeah,
you
but
can't
you're
decide
generalizing-
Maria is xenophobic
Yeah,
because she's saying.
but did you
But
know?
you're generalizing.
Okay,
You
but
guys
where is
say
it coming from?
Zimbabweans.
Aye.
Where is it coming from?
No.
But you can't use
no.
2007 as a
Hold
reference,
up.
Maria.
2000
Mr.
and every
Producer,
other.
where's my whistle?
No, you can't.
The one country that
Yeah.
is known for rigging is the
How?
one that's going to come and oversee.
There are so many countries that's accused of rigging certain elections.
Like?
No, come on, even the US.
Like Namibia.
even the US.
No, it's not from Africa. Like?
Guys,
Okay,
come
now-
on. We can talk about that tomorrow.
We can talk about the DRC, we can talk about Egypt, we can talk about
Hello.
all these countries. There's always someone that's accused of.
Hello, listen to me. Listen here. I cut your microphones because you are not listening to me.
Generally
Like
Zimbabwe.
democracy.
You guys will not single out Zimbabweans here.
You are the one who's putting the focus on Zimbabwe. We want to move on.
You said it.
No, a commentator. I agreed with a commentator.
I don't agree with the comment. You
Okay.
can't generalize Zimbabweans like that. Many African countries are accused of it.
Comrade Chairperson, let the record note Neville does not agree with the comment. We will move on. Your notion is suspended.
Even in South Africa, the or what is this opposition?
Withdraw that statement.
Yeah, come and withdraw.
Yeah.
JR, apparently you must withdraw your statement.
Many were on STEM summit.
Anyway, come and form with the comments that
Yeah.
by so. Navas Nehemia Shivia, sometimes we must just stop being so pessimistic and negative beforehand. What if the independent candidate ends up winning with the use of the EVMs? Is he still going to say the results
Hello.
are null?
Me, I said it already in studio that when you won Wafish Bay, people were in the streets dancing, celebrating, and by the way, Wafish Bay used EVMs.
Electronic voting machines.
Sorry, is it?
Yeah,
They
the
used
special,
EVMs.
the special in the country,
in the
all
country,
the
everybody
whole
in the
country, everybody
voted,
used
ballots were only abroad.
for abroad,
Yeah.
the foreign missions.
Okay, now
Now let's celebrate. May by new results.
Dis moet so kom, that's how so right, kom ons gaan net vorentoe gaan. Weyulu Shiweda, have you guys realized that Dr. Itula is just another self-centered, arrogant politician, and I'm not sure if he's ready to be a president just yet.
Apparently he's ready to be a president of the Dental Council of Namibia. Dis jou bril wat so gesê het.
No bashing of what say the Shandiki? What say the code of honor? Okay, anyway, Elago AU. But ECN has been warned already before. Even you guys know ECN was supposed to find a solution already. Let's not criticize. And no, the issue of EVMs was
we
raised.
are not listening to you.
I don't care. They are listening to me and I'm talking to them. No, the issue of EVM was raised before by different political parties, but ECN has been ignoring this, right? We can still postpone this election. ECN should know that we need transparency. You can't proceed with election while others are not happy with the process. We are going to be stuck with a situation where there's always going to be somebody who's not happy with the process.
That's
and we
true.
can't keep postponing our elections. So we can agree to disagree on some things for the better of our country. John 9 Ngete. Guys, get serious and stop laughing too much. It's D2A, please tell them. Neville, you are correct. A lot of African countries also complained over rigged elections. Yes, and guess what? They are all using ballot papers.
Thank you.
All of them. All right.
Lach nie.
Biza Black, hey team. Maria, does Mr. Mugabe have something to do with your statement?
Yeah, what?
With a statement, apparently. Madala Shikwambi, but the comrade who's against EVMs has been in SWAPO for too long. He might be talking from experience. I mean, why was EVMs not used during SWAPO Congress? Hola guys, get your ex together, come on. Yeah, it's julle wat so staan en lag wat gekeer word.
Okay.
Tell them to behave themselves.
We are behaving.
Ambro Shivute. The fact that Namibia is the first country in Africa to make use of EVMs should not make us advanced. It could be that India is still making trials and errors at the expense of our democracy. ECN should listen to all stakeholders affected by EVMs. Oh, so now you guys decided you're not talking anymore.
I was listening.
We don't want to laugh. Leave us.
Los us in. Read your stuff.
Timothy Somtai saying, why are some results still pending?
What results are pending?
I think some of maybe from the special election.
No. Let's be very clear. The results, what the media did is we were able to get pictures of those posted results, but they never came from the ECN. And the ECN made it clear that they're only going to release everything at once. So they're not going to. So they basically told us, and if you, the media, if you don't have somebody in every constituency to get you the results, then don't expect it from us, because we only going to announce results once.
Yes.
Because
yes.
and it's also not to cause this turmoil. You know, like if you announce already results now and then 2 weeks, there's already you're going to create some situation.
But Maria, on that specific point, don't you perhaps think that that the ECN in itself is very reactive in this, because it's like news, like any piece of news that we do get through social media on a daily basis. Once it's in the newspaper, we know the news already.
Yeah.
Why can't the ECN not be stubborn in following a certain line of how they want to do this thing and say, listen, we have to be proactive in this and say, okay, it's out there. Release the statement on a daily basis or 2-day basis.
Yeah, I understand that, but the danger of releasing the results the special election results before the main election. Let me give an example. Let's say in the special election, somebody like Itula is leading. He isn't, but let's say he was.
Mm.
He's leading. And then in the national election, he loses, which is actually where the actual bulk of the election started. Because let's say in the special elections, the elderly were not voting, or, or mostly supporters.
It's a small sample of the voting population.
Yes, it's a very small sample, and you can't really use it to determine whether you're going to win or lose.
Of course, yes.
But let's say he wins, and people see this as a reflection of what's to come.
Mm.
And then in the national election, on the come 27, they lose.
Mm.
Then they're going to use that, like, how did we were winning special elections and now we're losing, we lost the national. It must be because of rigging. And it will create some other perceptions, which is not real. And even the IPPR has come forward and just said, guys, don't use the special elections to determine what's going to happen in the national elections. Because you need to remember, it's just a drop.
It's really a drop.
It's a drop in the ocean. And, the bulk, the main registered voters, the majority are all voting on the come 27th, and that's when it's going to count.
I remember, guys, I remember in 89 at the first elections, when the first results started coming through. I'm telling you, the DTA of Namibia back then swooped this whole country from left to right.
Mm.
And
the special elections now.
The special elections. The DTA was so far ahead. Whether it was Keetmans, Marintal, the South, I think Windhoek was probably one of the sporadic, or the city. Yeah, I think the city SWAPO won here. But we were so sure that the DTA was so far ahead that we're not going to get independence here. Until the Tuesday morning when the results of the North came through. And from that specific result, SWAPO won the elections. But at any election after that, and I think the trust that the voters sort of gained of SWAPO, in the elections after that, all those towns that the DTA used to, govern, or they used to have the support in the 89 elections, was basically swooped by SWAPO. So, like you do say, the preliminary rounds now, which is basically just a drop in the ocean at the moment, does show that your independent candidate is making a good showing out of it. But then again, the 27th will come, and then we will see.
And the interesting thing is making a good showing, but he still has not won them.
Yeah.
Like in the special elections, Hage is still leading.
Yeah.
By the way.
Yeah.
So.
But wait, how do we know that if ECN is not?
No, based on the what media has been able to collect and put together.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the NBC has been able to collect their own and whatever and like distribute. So based on just what we have seen already, Hage is leading. So, but like I said, Itola isn't far behind either. He isn't far behind, but also maybe he's using that gave him Vuma to go to the tribunal. Who knows?
Okay. I personally did not really want to touch on elections because we have to answer questions like this.
It's inevitable.
But why did you announce some results if that is the case? Where you do not want to announce results here and there. And
they didn't
also,
announce, we did.
Yeah, Dahafa Johnson. ECN, since when and why have you started giving results only once? Leti Shikokola, is the previous comment. Timotheus Omtai, how long must the voting results last before being announced? What's the comment now? Yes.
With the EVM, with the power of the EVM, results can be announced on the same day.
Yes.
But like I said, so they have the results of the special elections. They're just not announcing them right now. They're going to announce them together with the rest of the country's votes.
And here's a name that's been quiet all morning, and then he comes in with this, Meneer Alfredo. Q, invite julle vir Jos die Vrydag.
Laat die wat kom.
Is net Alfredo wat sal weet, jong. Good morning, all, what's new? Huh?
We will have the Matongo family in studio tomorrow.
Oh, wait.
On Friday. Ek het amper gedink is donderdag. It's Wednesday. No, we'll have the Matongo family on Friday morning.
Yeah. Maria, here's why I did not want to sort of pronounce that the president is leading in the special elections. No, Hage is not leading the special elections. That's false.
That's it. Het jy gehoor, Maria? Maria is oorag.
Yeah, so until ECN announces the official results,
That's it.
we don't know who's leading where.
And this is why they. This is exactly why. Jammer me, mens man. I just tell it like it is. Sometimes you're not gonna like it, but it's the truth.
Kama your independent candidate. You guys, it's already past 9. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, no, interesting. But I think this debate will go on and on until the 28th.
It won't stop. It won't
November.
stop. Yeah, because even just reading our comments, you can see there is no general consensus.
So I thought Itula was leading the special elections. Where are you getting this info?
Go read the newspapers.
She's lying. Sis Miriam.
No, go read your papers, guys, please. NBC, I think, was the most, what do I say, in terms of resources, had the most resources to visit more constituencies than other, because they have they've got reporters basically everywhere. Whereas in some of us it's just the capital, north, maybe coastal and whatever. So NBC has been taking the pictures, as they're posted on stations, and based on their own count, is that Hage is leading.
To be honest with you guys, with the sporadic results that I've seen last week, I didn't do a count or a head count myself, but I honestly thought Itula was leading.
No. That's the thing. Also, that's a problem sometimes with the propaganda machine, because they're only posting results where Itula is clearly winning. You understand? So if there is no balance, if you're only announcing where he's winning like this, and he did win some constituencies, and then it looks like, oh, he's leading, but you're not announcing the other ones where Hage is leading. And that's what I'm saying. I actually also initially thought Itula was leading until I saw the NBC report.
Defenses,
Yes.
the comments, lots like NBC is nonsense, man, in all capital letters. Big shame.
Also true. It's a state broadcaster, so you be talking. So I'm just
Oh man. Matongo Matongo family in the studio by Friday. That's great news. Yes, that's going to be an interesting one.
That's going to be fun.
Why Maria is so sure? Huh?
I'm not. I'm just saying what's been reported on.
Biza Black saying, so the EVM war is on like any other party was close to winning the years of the ballot paper. What stable evidence do you have that the EVM system is used to manipulate votes?
Nobody has any.
Some state, and how is it that all ballot paper election outcomes were taken to court and the one of EVMs was not?
Yeah. There is no concrete material. Like I say, it's all speculation because it's computers, and you can always assume that a computer can be rigged. Now, we're not saying that the EVMs do get rigged. I'm saying that's obviously the basis on which Itula took the matter to the tribunal, because he's saying that he wants independent ICT people to come and check them. That's just what he's saying.
Kan ek nog gaan asseblief? I'm done. I'm done with you people.
Okay, just 2 more comments before we go. The one is from Mario King Martin. Why is that lady joking like that? Itula is leading the special election.
Yeah, J. Kenny Maria. Kenny Maria.
So the mensen said comfort.
It was even clear on NBC.
I thank you.
And Mutatio Castings wat vra crew. Wat het julle geroep? Alright, guys, we're getting out of here. you guys enjoy the rest of the Wednesday.
Okay, let me just ask a quick. Let me ask one question quickly. Do you think Itula would take this issue to the tribunal if he was leading in the special election? I'll leave you with that thought. Okay. Thank you, bye.
No, he'll take it to the Hague.
I will leave you with this one from Wasman Ham. Nia, is that the one? Oh yeah, here it is. NBC is Swapo's side chick. Don't believe them. Alright, we're out of here.
Ladies and gentlemen, Informanté Radio is now live at the